Well, ladies and gentlemen, Liam Walker here, and I thought the universe was done messing with me, but judging by the cosmic kick in the balls I've just suffered, and joining me now, I guess they're not, so joining me now, Father Jim. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Father.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, fools and the enlightened, and Mr. Piggly Wiggly over here. I am Father Jim. I am the religious inspiration of the Alpha Predator, your Gator King. Boom. You know, the man that retired you.
Religious inspirations. Like wrestling inspiration. And he didn't retire me. I've been wrestling.
Your sister doesn't count.
Okay, Father, since we're going to go down this route, how did you get started in the pro wrestling industry?
Well, it's very simple. I taught Boone how to beat up gators and made him the Gator King. And then I was watching the box one day, and I saw these boys flip-de-doo around the ring, and I said, you know what? I need to take the Gator King up there and have him beat up some of those boys and teach them what real fighting's all about. So that's what we did. We brought him up to Tampa Bay Pro and started beating boys like you.
Well, at the very least, all we can say is you haven't committed any murders yet. Okay, Father, let's try a straight answer for this one. Why are you here, and who were your biggest inspirations in pro wrestling?
In pro wrestling? Well, I don't have anybody that inspired me in pro wrestling. And why am I here? I am here to take your Gator King to the top of the mountain and make him the heavyweight champion at Tampa Bay Pro and start taking belts anywhere I want. But as far as my biggest inspiration came from a great leader that also stood for the people, Jim Jones.
Oh, Jesus, take the wheel. I'm not drinking your damn Kool-Aid. I'll stick with the water. Well, Jim, looking at you, you seem rather, what's the word I'm looking here for? Oh yeah, ancient. So tell me, how does a man that crawled out of King Tut's tomb get into professional wrestling?
Well, I don't know. How did somebody that crawled out of Dumbo's butt get into ring announcing? As far as my age, compared to a mountain I have yet to begun to grow, and there aren't many people that can take the shots that I have. I've been hit by my own man, Boone the Gator King. I've been hit by Sean Prime, but I'm still standing. I'm still walking around. You know, you call me old. It's called experience. Learn, Pillsbury Doughboy.
It's called your ass is gonna get turned into mummy dust. Well, the universe seems to be smiling on me. This is my final question. What does the future hold for Father Jim? Do you see yourself brainwashing any more poor innocent souls to join your cult, or are you just gonna stick with that little swamp-ass rat Boone?
Well, first of all, little man, do your homework. Father Jim has a great many clients. Father Jim has worked with a great many people. I've influenced such people as Barnabas. I've influenced the great Alpha Predator, Boone. And let's not forget, I am someone's new best friend. So Father Jim is expanding all the time. We are taking over Ocala, we are taking over Tampa Bay, and when Father Jim takes somewhere over, he takes somewhere over. Unlike you that just takes up a lot of space. You know what they say, there's always room for Jello.
Well, it seems like you do to take up space in a breath mint factory. Damn! Be sure to check out the Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling merch store where you can get super awesome tees just like this one. Also coming up next, we have Dax and the Roundtable.
Hey, for all your merchandise and collectible needs, check out shoptampabayprowrestling.com. We've got merch and more from your favorite superstars. We'll see you there.
Hey guys, Dax here. I'm really happy to be back with the Daxcast. We took a little bit of a short break there for about a month and a half. I really apologize. I've been really busy with a lot of wrestling related activities, and we also had a loss, both a personal loss and a professional loss for me. One of our trainees who graduated and actually wrestled on our show, Patrick Peterson, passed away. He was tragically hit by a drunk driver, and that hit me pretty hard, and it set back some production things and things like that, just because I wasn't ready to come back at that time. So I really appreciate everyone waiting it out, and I hope we reflected back and needed a little bit of time to digest what happened. So Patrick, I've been real close with his family and speaking with him as far as speaking with his family, making sure they're taken care of. We went to the funeral. He had a lot of support from the school. I appreciate everybody that came out and showed their support for Pat, whether they were with our company or they were just in the industry and wanted to support him. The wrestling community is fraternal in that way, and we always try to look out for each other when something like this happens, especially something beyond his control. It's really hard on us. So we're dedicating this episode to Patrick. We're doing a special breakout roundtable, a little bit different format, not just an interview this time. And I got myself, Daxcast. I got Liam Walker here.
Hey, folks.
And I got Father Jim.
Hello, everybody. Sorry to disappoint you. This is the real voice of Father Jim, and when it comes to doing podcasts, the voice really kind of starts bothering my throat a little bit.
Definitely got a face for radio.
So I guess before we get started, guys, you guys got anything to say about Pat?
I got to train with him a couple of times over at the school, at the Advanced Open Ring Center, and I've seen his work a couple of times. He was somebody that, in his heart, he lived professional wrestling. He loved it. He was always open to learn new things, and he just had the energy that, quite honestly, some of the guys at the upper echelon could learn to have again. He loved it, and he loved being in the ring. And unfortunately, it was a life cut way too short, way too fast, and the wrestling industry as a whole lost a lot of energy with that young man. So it is a shame. It really is.
Yeah.
I don't do well with this kind of thing.
Yeah.
No.
Well, the thing is with Pat was, Pat was different, and he wanted to be different. He and not everything came easy to him. He actually was deceivingly very athletic. He was coming off of, I know, like an ankle injury a few years ago. He got in a car accident, coincidentally, and he actually had the same surgery I had. And I remember him telling me, when he found out I literally have a plate in my ankle, and he had one too, exactly the same kind of procedure. And I told him, yeah, I had that, 20 years ago, 2001. Had a wrestling related injury that happened, and but I worked through it. And I think he was always looking for inspiration, but in the end he kind of inspired a lot of us that you can be a little bit different, you can dress different, you can think different. He was very creative in a way that made me think, when you've been around the block a little bit, you kind of get set in your ways, but he kind of, made a lot of people, think outside the box. And I think this industry needs more of thinking outside the box. It doesn't have to be routine. So, anyways, well, that's it for, talking about Pat for now. I think the next, we want to kind of do a noteworthy news update. So Liam Walker, what's the first on the hot plate here?
Well, at the time of this recording, it was this past Friday, but the biggest two pieces of news to come out of the wrestling industry both come out of WWE. Triple H is back as the EVP of Talent Relations, and the biggest shocker, Vince McMahon retired from his position as chairman of the board of WWE and appointed his daughter Stephanie and company president Nick Khan as co-CEOs. And I'd like to get y'all's reactions to that. Who wants to go first?
Well, I mean, the writing was kind of on the wall with all the investigation that was going on with Vince. But I don't want to talk about that. What I want to say about this is the man is approaching 77 years old. At the time of this recording, Ric Flair's final match is supposed to be tonight.
No, it's next week.
Next week.
A week away.
And he's in his mid-70s. But the thing about Vince McMahon, love him or hate him, like what he did or didn't do, the one thing about Vince McMahon is he brought sports entertainment to the national light. He started out from humble beginnings with a little indie wrestling company in Maine and grew it into a giant global juggernaut. And because of Vince McMahon, cultures mix together. When you go to a wrestling show and you go to a WWE event, it doesn't matter if it's WrestleMania, if it's a house show, you're going to see young people, old people, teenagers there, men, women, people of different ethnicities, people of different sexual orientations. And for those 3 hours, no one cares. They're just there enjoying the entertainment. Vince McMahon, with WWE and Ted Turner with WCW, through the Monday Night Wars, and then Vince carried on throughout, he created a cultural opportunity for people to come together and enjoy a common love.
Yeah.
And what people don't remember is WWE was actually the first sports event to come together after 9/11.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It was Vince McMahon that brought our country together. And I had the opportunity to talk to Rhino a couple of years ago. And he asked me, how much do you get paid to do a show? And I finally looked at him and I said, what does a memory cost? And he goes, what? I said, what does a memory cost? I said, what we do in professional wrestling and what Vince McMahon has nurtured over the past 30, 40 years is making memories. I can remember, and I'm old enough to remember in real time, Jerry the King Lawler versus Andy Kaufman. And if you don't think professional wrestling brings people together, go back on YouTube and watch Edge suddenly showing up at Royal Rumble a couple of years ago. Watch Ronda Rousey when she showed up at Royal Rumble for the first time. Or go back and watch AEW's first broadcast with CM Punk and watch the reaction of the crowd. Those are memories. Vince McMahon is the reason why people are creating those memories. If it wasn't for Vince McMahon, we wouldn't have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. We wouldn't have a John Cena. All the work that they've done with the Children's Miracle Network and breast cancer relief. Like Vince, hate Vince, it doesn't matter. But what we need to do is celebrate what Vince McMahon has done for our country, for the global community as a whole, and how he has brought people together to create memories that they'll never forget. And for that, I want to say thank you, Vince McMahon.
Yeah. The thing is with Vince, he's a pioneer. And I put a little post online because I thought it was necessary. And, like a lot of people want to talk about the scuttlebutt. Who cares? There's, controversy in a lot of different industries, not just professional wrestling. It just happens that this is televised. There's drama. There's all sorts of things. But the thing is with Vince McMahon, I always looked at him as an inspiration, as someone that could pull people together, like, building off what Jim said. I remember, doing my tech job, and I was overseas in the Middle East, helping with a military client of ours. And I remember being in this crappy, they call it the souk, okay, which is like a shopping center. It's like a flea market, sort of. And I remember I didn't realize it, but I remember walking in this, it's just, one of these shops, and you could buy, gold or bracelets or whatever, and just we're looking around, and there's like a TV and a father with this, Arab father and this a son, and they're just sitting there and they're watching Monday Night Raw, and I was like, I'm on the other side of this planet, in a place he would never think, and Bahrain is actually very nice, and we actually, I remember like thinking like, man, like you don't see these people watching NFL football, you don't see these people watching baseball, but these people are watching Monday Night Raw, and I was like, like, to me, it's, it's kind of cool. Like, it's kind of like, hey, when you go and you meet somebody and like they're from the same hometown as you are or something like that. But it's like there is no hometown for professional wrestling, for WWE at least. It has that global reach, and a lot can be said.
Wrestling fans speak the same language. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you give out a woo, somebody else is going to woo you back. It's a cultural phenomenon, and it's global.
It really is. And piling on to what you said, if it wasn't for Vince McMahon, you said there'd be no Rock, there'd be no John Cena, there would also be no Hulk Hogan, no Undertaker, no Macho Man Randy Savage, no Stone Cold Steve Austin, no Roman Reigns, no a lot of these guys that have been like the face of the company, the #1 pick of Vince McMahon to carry the company into whatever generation, era, decade. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. Without McMahon, these guys are toiling away in some territory somewhere, hoping for a big break in WCW.
What do you think would have happened if Vince Kennedy McMahon never took the company? Let's say he went and was CEO of some other company, or went on to be a businessman in other genres. What would have happened to professional wrestling if he didn't take that company over from his father?
It would have died. It would have
died?
It would have died, because the thing is, without Vince McMahon bringing everything together and taking basically, and I remember the territory days. I grew up watching wrestling on the territory days, and when Time Warner bought out TBS, bought out Ted Turner, they got rid of wrestling. Well, if you didn't have Vince, you would have gone back to the territory days. You wouldn't have had anything, because you didn't have that global reach. You didn't have that nationally televised reach that WWF, now WWE,
but
had.
WCW would have existed.
WCW would have existed until Time Warner,
because it was Georgia Championship Wrestling, sort of, originally.
Right.
And then Turner bought it. It was Georgia, then it was NWA, then it was.
But
WCW.
I don't think professional wrestling would be as mainstream as it is now. It would have still been the territory.
I don't think it would have been as global. Global.
No. Agreed.
If not for WCW being bought by Ted Turner and going live mainstream Monday nights when they did, without WWE as competition, Jim said it, there would be no professional wrestling. There would be no guys to make the memories like Hogan, Savage, Styles, Cena, Flair, Foley, Taker, Kane, none of them.
Yeah, but you don't think that those territories, as technology increased, right? As technology and television increased, you don't think, and I'm not trying to belittle what Vince has done, because obviously it's epic proportions. But do you? I'm just asking the question.
Well, I think what would have happened is you would have had pocket fan bases like you did, like ROH, like ECW, like MLW, like AAA, WCCW, AAA,
AWA.
You would have had the NWA, the AWA. As technology
the original
improved,
territories.
As technology improved, the territories. But it would have been kind of almost like the NCAA these days, where you've got the SEC, you got the
ACC, the Big 12, Pac-10,
and it's.
But don't you think that hurts them? Do you think that hurts them in a sense because they're too diversified?
No, because what I think the NCAA is coming to is going to be these
rolling together.
Yeah, major conferences, and everybody else is going to get swept up. And I think that's what would have happened with wrestling. Is one of the major territories, like a Georgia Championship Wrestling, would have taken over pretty much the South, and somebody would have taken over the North and the Northeast, and somebody would have taken over the Midwest, and somebody would have taken the Southeast and Southwest, and it would have been territorial like that. It would have just been bigger territories. But what Vince did is he took all of that crap out and made it a national.
And pissed everyone off.
Well, yeah, he made a lot of enemies.
Yeah.
A lot of enemies in doing that. But the thing is,
that's what you got to be disruptive.
But the thing is too is look at what Vince did. Is when you had the territory days, you had basically Americans. You had mostly white guys, a couple of African Americans wrestling. You had ladies, and it was a carniac. But the thing is, it was Vince McMahon that started bringing in talent from the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Mexico, Japan, Canada, England, Ireland, France, Australia, India. Vince brought that in. I mean, if you actually look at professional wrestling as a whole, and if you look at the WWE especially, love Vince or hate Vince, he created the perfect cornucopia of diversity in one organization, and everybody builds to the other one. I mean, you figure Vince McMahon went to the Middle East and had women performing in a ring, cross culture,
In a war zone, nonetheless.
In a war zone, in a culture where women aren't treated as equal. And Vince McMahon put them in the ring, and not just once, multiple times. But you figure the global reach. You figure you've got Asuka from Japan, you got Sheamus, you've got Finn Balor, you've got Paige,
Drew McIntyre,
you had
Gunther.
You had the Big Khali, you have guys from Germany, you had Cesaro, you had from all these European countries, and you had people from Australia, and they all came together under one banner. So Vince McMahon has done the one thing that I don't think anyone else could really have done, and that's bring the entire world together under one banner in one sport, because wrestling is a sport, in one sport, and have everybody work together. Okay, granted, Vince created the common enemy in himself, but everybody worked together.
But don't you think that what Vince did, the other promoters didn't think about doing prior? Going and stepping through the territories, stepping on top of the other ones.
Oh, some of them definitely thought about it. I guarantee you, guys like Gagne thought about it, or Von Erich thought about it.
Yeah.
Hell, Paul E. probably thought about it. Ted Turner probably thought about it. See, here's the thing, though. The problem. They were all thinkers. Vince McMahon was a doer. He bought Titan Sports Entertainment from his father. He took that small little pissant territorial promotion and turned it to this worldwide conglomerate with one show. March 31st, 1985, WrestleMania. If not for that show, the WWE would have only stayed as a little territory up in the Northeast and would not have the worldwide reach that it has today.
And yes, I'm sure there were probably some big guys out there like Jarrett or Gagne. Probably Sam Muchnick might have had that idea.
Lawler as well.
But the thing is, they thought about it, and back then in the territories, it was still considered good old boy club. And Vince McMahon walked in and said, I'm not a good old boy. I'm here to kick ass and take names. To steal a line from the great Roddy Piper, Vince walked in and said, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Yeah.
And Vince did that. I've got to give him credit. And if you look at the reach and the fact that because Vince made these types of stars, you have a major influence in Hollywood with The Rock and with John Cena and with Dave Bautista. But look at it this way, we're also having clout within the political realm. 2 professional wrestlers have held office.
Jesse Ventura
and Glenn Jacobs. Rhino ran for office in Detroit.
Linda
McMahon was on the cabinet for the president. And a lot of people sat there and go, well, that makes no sense.
Small business.
The Small Business Administration. I'm like, well, this was the face. Who do you think really ran the company?
Linda.
Her and her husband took a small company and built it into a global multi-billion-dollar entity.
Everybody thinks like Vince is like people don't understand the amount of work that has to happen. Like everyone just thinks, oh yeah, he's just like booking Raw. No, he has so many departments and branches.
He was in everything.
Yeah, I mean,
because you've got WWE Films, you've got the music division, you've got TV, you've got creative, you've got developmental.
All the contracts that he had to negotiate for NXT, Raw, SmackDown, all the guys girls at the Performance Center,
Saudi Arabia, Fox, NBC Universal, Peacock.
WCW didn't start their own streaming service.
WCW wasn't around long enough to have their own streaming service.
And the thing about it is a lot of people want to sit there and they want to condemn Vince. But the thing is, if it wasn't for Vince McMahon, we wouldn't have AEW. Vince McMahon basically threw out a challenge and said an indie can't sell out a mainstream building.
Yeah.
And Chris Jericho,
if you want to get technical,
Dustin Rhodes and the Young Bucks said, oh really? Watch. Sold out the United Center, and then AEW was born.
If you want to get technical, Dave Meltzer challenged Cody Rhodes, and Cody said bet, and that was the first All In. Presented with ROH, but it was still the foundation for AEW. Because Meltzer said no company aside from WWE could sell 10,000 seats in an arena. Cody and the Young Bucks, they took that personally, and then they turned around and did it.
You know,
and they wouldn't have done it if not for Vince McMahon and his giant grapefruits having such a stranglehold on the pro wrestling TV industry.
Exactly.
Because you never saw, even at their height, TNA never sold 10,000 seats in an arena. MLW has yet to sell 10,000 seats in an arena. AAA will down in Mexico, so will CMLL. But you bring those guys over here, they're not going to do it.
You know, Japan's not going to still
doesn't
do the.
No, they'll sell out the Tokyo Dome.
40,000.
But you bring them here to the Garden, they're not going to sell more than 10,000 seats by themselves. With Ring of Honor in 2019, how many seats did they sell? Probably 19,000.
I mean, but it was.
But it was not a complete and total sellout.
Well, and the thing about it is if you look at how Vince McMahon grew the company, if you look at that first episode of Monday Night Raw versus, because when they did the anniversary show, they filmed half of the show in the original place where they held Raw,
Center,
and where they were at now. And you were just like, oh my God, it's like night and day. It's like they can go out, Vince McMahon can sit there and say, hey, in 2 weeks, I'm going to put a Monday Night Raw in Wembley Stadium, and Wembley Stadium will be sold out.
92,000 people, they'll be clammed in there to see it.
You know, the NFL doesn't get that kind of response when they go to England. But the thing about it is that's what, you know, for all the negative things about Vince McMahon, what he did for professional wrestling, and be honest, if it weren't for Vince McMahon, the three of us probably wouldn't be sitting here.
No, we would not.
Because,
or we could be in a different capacity.
Right. The thing is
I mean, we like others inspire others. Right. I mean, so I think like to me, I just feel like, and this is by no means me undermining like what Vince has done and the legacy, because I have so much respect for him, but I feel like somebody similar to Vince or like a Vince with the same mentality maybe would have stepped up, but we would never know. Who cares? I can speculate all day, and you know this, all the allegations and all that kind of scuttlebutt that has come out. Hey man, like, dude, wrestling's hard. You're on the road. That's hard on your family. You know, Vince wasn't able to be there every night with his kids. You know, and I don't personally know the guy, never met him. But the thing is, he's having to deal with life just like anybody else. And any of those critics that want to be out there and get down on things, and I'm not saying the guy ain't perfect, but neither are you.
No.
You know, everybody's made mistakes in life. And
no, Vince McMahon will never go down as a saint, but what he should go down as a visionary and an inspiration to a lot of other people, not just in the wrestling business, but he has shown how you can bridge the gap globally, and we can all, again, to steal another phrase, we all can just get along.
Yeah.
And Vince has done that. Vince has been able to do that. And that's something that we should remember. Vince is not just a visionary for professional wrestling and sports entertainment. Vince is a visionary for global business.
Yeah.
And people need to start taking a little bit of inspiration from him. Is he a saint? No. But
well, let's wrap this segment up. Let's take a quick break, guys. We'll be right back with the Daxcast.
Hey, did you like that video? You want to see more like it? Subscribe to Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling's Patreon page. Become a $10 backer or above to get the video of this podcast. Also, be sure to check out Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling, August 12th, Campbell Park Rec Center, as we present Rising Tides. Tickets start at $15. Kids are free with paid adult.
And we're back from the break here with the Daxcast. Liam, what else we got on the news sheet?
Well, at the time of this recording, it's a week from today, Ric Flair's last match. This card, holy crap, 11 matches and counting on this card, including the main event. It's going to be Ric Flair teaming with his son-in-law, Andrade El Idolo, against Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Now, Jay Lethal, he's been a big help for me and Dax when it comes to getting into this business. And I got to tell you, watching some of these vignettes building up to it, I kind of feel like Palpatine watching Luke beat the piss out of Vader in Return of the Jedi. When I see Jay beating up on Flair, I'm like, good. Let the hate flow through you.
All right,
embrace your destiny.
What nerds? So did you guys all see the vignette promo that was put on YouTube, and with the story with Jay? I loved how it was done. I loved how they spun Jarrett in. because it started like Jarrett like pulling Jay off because Jay, like basically if you haven't seen it, which you probably have if you're listening to this, but basically Jay felt undermined because he was helping Flair get prepared for his final match, but they didn't know who the opponent was, and then Jay wanted to be involved on the show, and Flair said, "Hey, you're not of that caliber." Which upset Jay, and then Jay confronted him after the press conference in Nashville for StarCast, I believe, and basically jumped him in the parking lot. And then Jeff Jarrett and Karen Angle, or excuse me, Karen Jarrett, now formerly Karen Angle, went ahead and tried helping Rick, and then Rick basically said something along the lines.
Rick said something about Jeff's father, and then Jeff decided, you know what?
Because Jeff's father,
Jerry
Jarrett, obviously there was some history there with Rick and him. So quite interested how they pulled him in, and then he was saying how he was never good enough to be a horseman, but Jarrett says he was. I guess it's quite interesting. The best touches that I loved in it, Jay had a white shirt on.
Yep. Karen was wearing an
had
all-white
suit. I think, did Jarrett have?
Jeff had a white T-shirt on.
White T-shirt, so that blood was showing, and
Flair was bleeding like Flair.
He was bleeding like a stuck pig.
It was a class on how to do a promo. But the one guy that needs to feel the luckiest man on the face of the planet in this entire mess, Andrade, because he is going to be in the ring with 3 guys that are class acts that have been in this business for a long time. They've done it all. Babyface, heel, they've been up and down the roads. They've done everything there is to do. Andrade is getting a doctorate class in professional wrestling, and he's got to be the luckiest guy in the entire match. And if I were him, I would sit in the corner and just go, yes sir, no sir, whatever you want me to do, sir. And that's no matter which one of the 3 of them are talking to him.
If I'm Andrade, I'm sitting there, I'm taking notes.
I'm taking notes, I'm taking everything in.
Yeah, but the thing is with Andrade, that guy is good. He's
good.
Incredible. And I mean, him and Lethal just in the same ring,
it's gonna blow the roof off.
It's gonna blow the roof off. Obviously we know Jeff's up there too, in age, and Rick's up there in age. So but I just think I've always been a huge fan of Andrade, whether it was in the E or if it's over in AEW or if it was something in Mexico or what have you. Because the guy, his work rate is incredible. He looks incredible. What's interesting is they're all almost the same height. I don't know if you noticed that.
I think Jeff might be the tallest guy in the match.
Yeah, Jeff is tall. Jeff is the tallest.
He's like 6. When I met him, he was like 6'2", I want to say, something like that.
Well, Andrade clearly has the biggest build of them all. But for his size, that dude can move. He can motor, and you're right. Andrade is an amazing worker.
Andrade pulled 5-star matches out of Johnny Gargano. Okay?
I mean, don't get me wrong. Andrade is an amazing wrestler, but the thing about it is, the best wrestler can still learn from the best.
Oh yeah.
And when it comes to Ric Flair, he might be 70 some odd years old.
But that's a learning tree. You sit under, you shut up, you take
learn.
Notes.
And we've seen Flair and Lethal go back and forth at it. Everybody that watched TNA remembers Jay Lethal and the woo-off with Ric Flair.
Big man!
Jeff Jarrett's man!
Talk about the 4 horsemen!
And everybody knows that Jeff Jarrett can pull a 5-star match out of a fucking broomstick.
Yeah.
And you've got Andre. You have 4 guys in that ring that are very good at what they do. But if I were Andrade, I would be a sponge. I would sit there and take notes, and I would literally watch that tape back until my dying day to learn everything there is to learn that you're going to experience in that match.
It's going to be a barn burner. I like, of course, I'm not trying to, I know Jay. I do know Jay. Jay's a friend of mine, as well as more he's my teacher. He taught me everything in this business. And the thing is people don't realize, Jay truly respects his business more than anybody else I've ever met in my life, and he even more respects Rick. So this match, it's funny, I look at this match, I'm actually more excited for this match than I was when Rick and Jay wrestled in TNA. And that was like his comeback retirement type, comeback from retirement match. But the thing is I'm kind of more excited for this match because Rick's like 73 years old. I mean, when was the last time somebody that old has wrestled on like a big program like that? I'm not talking about like some indie and.
Well, the thing is everybody talks about how Tom Brady over 40. You got Ric Flair 73 years old, and easily his top 3 matches, in my opinion, is the match with Jay when he came back to TNA, Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, and this is going to be number 1. This is going to be a barn burner because the thing is more fans are actually interested in seeing this match than any pay-per-view from any company.
Yeah.
From any guy. I don't care if it's WWE, I don't care if it's WrestleMania, I don't care if it's Bound for Glory, I don't care if it's All In, I don't care. This match particularly is the match everybody wants to see.
And I like how they're making it more like an old school feel. Like it's like Jim Crockett Promotions.
Yeah. He was in that vignette too.
Yeah, he was in the vignette, but they're making it more like an old school. You don't have to have all this high production, lasers and
it's
LED boards.
It's going to be a center stage style production. I'm looking forward to it.
Like a lot of those vignettes was shot right over at the lab. Like literally 300 yards away from where we're sitting right now, and and they made it work. It doesn't have to have all that production and that the glitz and glamour of special effects. But I'm really excited. I'm even more excited. They're doing a lot cross promotional. So MLW is going to be over there showcasing some of their talent. New Japan is over there showcasing
Impact,
talent.
AEW, and if you want to get technical, WWE, because Jeff Jarrett did just sign a contract to be the EVP of live events.
But he's not talent.
He's gonna be the special guest referee.
That's an employee, so that's a little bit different.
The thing I say about the vignettes, and I'll say this to any wrestler, any manager, anybody in the business, pay attention. That's called storytelling, kids. Mm-hmm. You want a master's class on how to tell a story? Right there. Simple, to the point. You don't need all the bells and whistles and lasers and all that other crap. That is a master class in how to tell a story before a match ever starts.
All right, that's it for this segment. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hey, for all your merchandise and collectible needs, check out ShopTampaBayProWrestling.com. We've got merch and more from your favorite superstars. We'll see you there.
All right, guys, we're back with our final segment of the Daxcast. So, guys, let's talk about current events here as far as Florida independent wrestling goes.
At the time of this recording, we are 5 days away from Real Pro Wrestling. What's it, Uprising?
Yeah, I think so.
The Real Pro Rumble. I'm going to actually be an entrant in that. Don't post this till after the Rumble.
Yeah. It might come out early. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Oh, shazza.
We'll keep it for the Patreon members. Don't worry about it. Then this will actually go in.
August 12th, we've got Rising Tides for Tampa Bay Pro.
Who's the promoter there? Sounds like a nice guy.
Yeah, really.
Graphics are awesome.
Yeah.
So on Rising Tides, the main event is going to be Stephen Frick versus the Tank Nick Abrams. And for the Dream Division, we have Magical Chrissy Vane. She's going to be taking on the man-made monstrous,
I believe. Kelsey Reagan.
Kelsey's been a breakout star. She's appeared on AEW Dark or Elevation, one of those
two
flavors of AEW. She's originally out of I believe 3D, I want to say, but she's been really breaking out. Has been going out. She's been doing No Peace Underground. She's been dabble with some hardcore wrestling, but it's kind of a cool matchup there as far as this whole monstrous athlete against a more magical Chrissy Vane. Chrissy's been wrestling for over 20 years now. She did do some work in WWE briefly, but she worked a lot on the independent scene, and is a hell of a talent. We also have the Tag Team Championship. The Midnight Tribe, Jackson Zane and David King have held the titles for over a year and a half at this point, and they will be taking on the Commissioner's Cabinet's hand-picked tag team of Financially Stable with Winston Bentley III and Connor McKay. What do you think about that?
No, I think it's great. About damn time the Tribe comes back and defends the titles. But I think that Financially Stable might have bitten off a bit more than they can chew and might have to buy the referee. Yes, might have bitten off a bit more than they can chew here.
I mean, when you look at the Midnight Tribe, they're the type of people, if you brought your girlfriend to the club,
they're going to leave with her.
And one of them is going to probably leave with her, and you're going to probably pay for their bar tab and
the
taxi
Uber
home to your bed.
Yeah, and thank them. Yeah. Financially Stable, they have bitten off more than they can chew, and I don't care if they've got the power of the Commissioner's Cabinet behind them, but
hey, you got the hired gun there. You got Dr. Ian.
yeah, but you also have to keep in mind that
In the wins, you got Stephen Frick.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, Stephen Frick's gonna have enough on his plate, and he's gonna be busy enough trying to figure out Nick the Tank Abrams, because and that's the thing. But the problem is the Commissioner Cabinet doesn't have the power of JPO anymore. But I think this is going to be a very long night for Financially Stable against the Midnight Tribe. And there's one thing I am grateful about. That turncoat, backstabbing little punk that wants to attack people from behind. Sean Prime's not going to be there.
Okay, well, get over it, Father Jim. And don't you find it coincidental that Commissioner Jordan Pierce Owens retires, and then Vince McMahon copies him and retires after that?
Yeah, but Vince didn't take.
I'm just saying.
But Vince didn't take a super kick in his retirement.
And he didn't get any chicken tenders stolen either.
That's true.
But those are some damn good tenders, though.
Yeah, Beef O'Brady's best chicken tenders in the business in Tampa Bay. All right. Next up, we have a four corners contract on the pole, sort of like a Money in the Bank. We haven't come up with a full name for it, but basically you grab that, you can cash it at any time for the Tag Team Championships. You're going to have myself, Daxcast, with the Maverick Chris Calloway, the Renegades, versus the Gifted. First time ever in the ring together. I've been in the ring with Logan Cruz one time in the gauntlet, the Halloween gauntlet.
Logan is a hell of an athlete.
He's a hell of an athlete. Wheezy and him are quite a tandem. Then we also have the returning Hellhounds with their new, I guess, queen, that what they're telling me? Lilith. And I don't know much about her. I guess she's come onto the scene. Quite interested in what's going on, but I will tell you they match up pretty well to myself and Chris as far as that brawling, but combining it in with some.
Who's that made up of again?
Cody Behringer and JT Mercer.
Yeah.
And
JT Mercer, probably the best wrestler in the state at working in an extremity. I would say he targets an extremity, isolates it, and tears it apart.
And who's the fourth team in there?
And the fourth team is none other than those little spoiled brats, Exodus of the movement.
Oh, Exodus.
I'm going to tell you right now, the Hellhounds may have brought Lilith, but with the Gifted, you have to watch out for Leroy Shogun. Leroy Shogun is the one.
But is Leroy Shogun really part of the Gifted?
I don't know, but the thing is, you have the movement.
They're saying it, and they did wrestle at the last show.
Yeah, and at the last
Beef O'Brady's,
they were all together. You got to watch Leroy Shogun because he is the baddest man on the planet, And I've tussled with him once or twice, but I'm here to tell you that's going to be the deciding factor.
Leroy Shogun pinned Stephen Frick in that main event. Remember that?
Yeah.
He pinned him in that main event.
That's where you have to worry. And I heard some rumblings that the movement is moving. They're making some changes. So, you've got the movement. There's 3 members there. You've got
4 members. Dante Casanova.
Yeah, you got Dante Casanova you got to worry about too.
When's the last time he actually showed up in Tampa Bay Pro?
He's booked at the next show.
Oh, see? There you
Apparently,
go.
he is.
So,
But the commissioner's not stated his exact match, and apparently he's not very happy about it. So I mean, it's going to be one of these last minute things where he can't really prepare.
Now I will say this, as considering I know that the Alpha Predator Boone has been in the ring with you. My money is going to be on either the Gifted with Leroy Shogun playing a part, or the Renegades. That's where my money's going to go.
Leroy Shogun has his own hands full in his own match, as he's taken on the hired gun of the Commissioner's Cabinet, Samuel C., with the dots between each letter.
See, all that tells me is that Sam C's fucked around long enough, and it's time for him to find out.
Hey, Samuel C. is a whole new man now. I don't know what they've been doing, brainwashing him as far as what he's doing now, but he's been surgically precise with his strikes, with his technique that he's using.
All I'm saying is they better not tell him to execute Order 66.
And also in that match, the leader of the movement, Logan Rice, the guy that went and beat the crap out of my kid, strapped me to the ropes, and spray painted my kid movement on his back.
So I'm sitting here thinking, if Logan Rice gets involved in that match, you and your partner might get yourselves disqualified taking out Logan Rice.
Well, but here's the thing: he's not in the match. So if he comes out, he's
fair game.
Yeah, he's fair game as far as I'm concerned. Because remember, this match is no DQ, man.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be
that
be a
4
long
corners
night.
match is no DQ.
Yeah. Those are gonna be those boys.
So they
really
get involved. Listen. I know there's a lot of targets on Chris and I's back. I get that, but there's always been a target on my back. And then so I mean that'll be interesting. Kind of Shogun really has his hands full with those two, and it's not a handicap match. Those two, aren't exactly friends, but the movement and the Commissioner's Cabinet sort of was working together, from what I could tell.
Yeah, but how much of that togetherness is still going to be now that JPO's out of the picture?
Yeah, exactly. I think Commissioner Owens had a lot to do with that, and eventually, the bigger snake's going to eat the smaller snake.
What
if you just cut the head off of both snakes and let the bodies die?
Well, here's the thing.
Well, I guess here's the thing. Has to figure that out.
Here's the thing I'm going to say about the Commissioner's Cabinet, and pardon me for a moment.
Maybe there should be a change at the top of the leadership, and maybe the Commissioner's Cabinet should be dissipated, and a new order should come into effect.
No, I don't think ownership cares about swamp creatures.
Boone is not the only one Father Jim knows how to talk to.
Or coat-like figures. Additionally, additional matches. We're going to have a cruiserweight scramble in that match.
So Sage Scott's going to be there.
Sage Scott is not booked on this show.
Sage Scott is not a cruiserweight
as of right now. Nor is he a cruiserweight. Even though I believe in today's day and age he's a heavyweight, but that's a whole nother story. That cruiserweight match right now confirmed is Ruby Flyer, JC Vega is also in that match.
Aren't they twins?
We do have a debuting talent that is also going to be in that, and shoot, it's escaping me now. But Drake Xavier is going to be coming back, I mean, if you haven't seen Drake work, that guy is quite a spectacle to watch. Super athletic, very definitely worth the watch. To check out, and there could be a few more added. We'll see what happens. Additionally, we have Devlin Macabre On the girls' side, she will be taking on Lexi Gomez.
Ooh, that should prove to be interesting.
I believe that is the first time those two have ever met in the ring. Also in the Dream Division, we have a tag team showcase as the Sauce Bros. Avery Bro and Valentina Rossi will be taking on Emily Locke and T-Gates.
Well, I have to say, as Father Jim, that my bet is going to be on Emily Locke and T-Gaines in that match.
This is the first time Emily and T-Gaines actually tagging together. Sauce Bros actually just debuted and were wrestling on AEW Dark as a tag team, so they have a little bit more experience under their belt, but we'll see what happens. T-Gaines and Emily have been fighting and beating each other up all over the state. I'm told that they have gained a lot of respect for each other, and it should be interesting. They both have that smash mouth mentality as far as how they wrestle, very action packed. So I really do look forward to this card is looking really strong. There's, there could be a few more matches added here, but that's the card right now. Tickets are only $15 for general admission, $20 for ringside VIP tickets. There's also the option of ordering an extra signed poster where all the talent from the show will sign the poster for you. You must pick it up at Min's merchandise stand at the show. Also, if you want to pre-order the video content to be on DVD or Blu-ray, you can do that when you order the tickets. So that's everything for Tampa Bay Pro Rising Tides. It is August 12th again at the Cameron Park Rec Center. 8 p.m. is bell, first bell, and we're going to kick the show off. What else we got coming up? So Israel Pro, Tampa Bay Pro, so that's Fort Myers, St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay.
And then there's the Invasion of Melbourne.
Invasion of Melbourne, let's talk about
you guys heard Boone back in the first Daxcast. Boone was talking about he was starting up a company. Well, Commissioner Walker, you have what, Road to Victory is coming up in Melbourne. Road to Glory for Florida.
Isn't this
Pro
your show?
Wrestling.
You don't know the name of the show?
Florida Pro Wrestling Alliance presents Road to Glory, August 14th in Melbourne, Florida.
At the Rubik's Cafe, and Father Jim is not going to be appearing at FPWA.
Mercifully,
Father Jim. Father Jim will not be there. But you announced the tag team match of Tommy Too Good and Sean O'Reilly versus the
Draven and his son Aiden
Durden. That's like a battle between Kansas and Florida. Plus you have SXPW and that. Draven and Sean O'Reilly don't exactly like each other.
That's an understatement.
But the thing about
so just to touch on that, so they've been wrestling for the past year on SXPW. They've done every style match, cage matches, hardcore matches.
Have they done Loser Leaves Town yet?
No, but the last SPXW show afterwards, Sean O'Reilly opened up Aiden Durden.
Oh yeah, that's
in
right.
the head. Opened up. He popped him in the head and cracked his skull open, and he was bleeding pretty profusely. So
So you're trying to tell me he likes to hit minors?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
we weren't going to bring that up, but one of the things that I talked to Boone about this because we talk about a lot of things. One of the things about FPWA that I think a lot of fans are going to be interested in is you're not going to be able to just see talent from here in Florida, but we're bringing in talent. They are bringing in talent from Kansas, West Virginia, California, Denver. They are bringing in talent from out of state to see just how good these out of state guys are when it comes to the forgotten state, as some people say, when they have to come down here to Florida and have to deal with
Apparently, Florida isn't forgotten enough where these guys are coming here. So,
but there's going to be some bragging right matches.
I'm sorry, I take my state. I fly that Florida flag proudly. I'm sorry.
I am Florida man.
Yeah.
But based on the poster that I saw, Big Andy Big Andy from Port St. Lucie is going to make the
I know
drive up
Andy
to up to Melbourne, and I wonder if we can find a big enough guy. I wonder if FPWA.
I'm wrestling Andy English.
You're wrestling Andy English at FPWA. Ooh,
And I'm gonna kick that bus driver's ass.
okay. So
Go back to the bus.
And it's gonna be a short bus.
So it's gonna be Dax the Axe versus the bus driver, and we're gonna find out which one of them is gonna be riding the small bus home. Is what you're saying. And it's gonna be Andy.
Well, sounds like a problem for Andy.
But no, FPWA.
You're trying to see if I'm scared? I'm not scared.
No, I'm not saying you're scared. FPWA, Florida Pro Wrestling Alliance. You can find us on Facebook, FPWA. But if you're going to be in the Melbourne area, or if you are a fan of a lot of Tampa Bay wrestlers, I'm going to tell you right now, you probably want to show up over in Melbourne. But there's going to be other ways to view the content, but August 14th is going to be our debut show, and I think...
Well, maybe you should give them the rest of the socials as well. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of them, at FPWA Official. Make sure you follow them all so you don't miss any of the breaking news.
So let me ask you a question. Why is it called Florida Pro Wrestling Alliance?
Well, from what I understand from Boone...
Why do you guys get the name of Florida?
Well, because we're creating a professional wrestling alliance. I am involved in some of the stuff. I'm on the board of directors there. And the idea is
a high-paid job.
No, it's Boone. I get gator bites. I don't even get Scooby snacks. But the idea is the Florida Pro Wrestling Alliance is because we're going to try and become a hub for wrestlers, because in the indies, especially within the state of Florida, wrestlers tend to work in one region and they work the same guys over and over again, or they work in this region, what we're trying to do is we're trying to pick and pull from all of them. We're trying to get some of the best talent, bring them together in that alliance, and try and get these different promotions to kind of work with us and create an alliance, and then take on the rest of the country. Like you got Kansas coming down to try and exert their dominance, and we're going to show them that no, Florida can kick Kansas's ass. So, and we've got people coming in from the Virginias, and we've got people coming in from Texas and Oklahoma and Colorado and California, and they're trying to exert their dominance. So we're trying to create this wrestling alliance to kind of be the blocker or the spearhead, the defensive line, so to speak, of Florida Pro Wrestling, and then move forward. That's the idea of what we want to do with Florida Pro Wrestling Alliance. Based on what I've heard from our owner.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Florida is going to slaughter whoever comes here. You understand? Forgotten state my ass.
Well,
we set the bar, baby.
We are the bar. The bar is open.
Yeah.
So, but Liam Walker is the commissioner of Florida Pro Wrestling Alliance.
I'm territorial when it comes to that.
What was it your social media manager called me? He said I'm one of the most evil men in the state, one of the most evil men in pro wrestling. You're going to see just how evil I am.
I heard you're not even the real commissioner. I heard you're taking orders from somebody.
Nah, those dickheads don't pay me enough to micromanage me like they do.
I don't know. I saw you on the phone.
Yeah, and you heard what I said to them, right? They don't pay me enough.
Well, that was after you.
Yeah, that was after you hung up with Mr. Sniper.
Anyway.
But yes, I am on the Father Jim, of course, as the religious consultant to Boone the Gator King. I am on the board of directors. I help advise Boone. But as far as ownership, I really don't know who the guy is that owns it. But I am very excited about Florida Pro Wrestling Alliance and see how everything goes. But based on the tag team match and the big match...
What is the venue?
Pardon?
What's the venue?
The Rubik's Cafe in Melbourne. But just with the fact that Big Andy and Dax the Axe, and then we have the tag match. I'm not 100% sure what else is the rest on the card, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it's and based on what I've seen on their Facebook page, they've got people like Reggie Rhythm coming in. They've got Karma Dean is set up to come there. I've seen that, Gemini, everybody's favorite sign, Gemini, she was trained by Soul Man Alex G and JB Cool.
Oh, she's from down south?
Yeah, she's down in southern Florida. There's this girl coming in from Kansas named Stormy Renee, and she just looks like this little Little Miss Sweetie Midwestern cowgirl or something like that. I don't know.
You better tell us who you are when you get here. She shows up. That's what it's about.
But based on what I've seen, some of the roster reveals, they look like they have a pretty nasty roster building up here. So, even though we do have Liam Walker as the commissioner.
I heard Liam Walker might have a match on that show. I think that's Father Jim.
Well, it is Fuck Around and Find Out season here in Florida, so we'll see what happens.
Any other news on the Indies that you guys want to bring up before we take this home?
I can't think of anything.
Nor can I.
Real Pro, Tampa Bay Pro, and
FPWA.
FPWA. Those are the
big three right now.
You can see me, as far as out of state, you can see myself up in Georgia, in Baker County, there with SWA. We have a show on August 6th, the first Saturday. My tag partner, Chris Calloway, and I will be going up there. I will be in singles action. I am taking on Andrew, I can't pronounce his last name, Grandado. This should be an interesting match. And then after that, we will be on the third Saturday of that month in August. We will be going up to Payville, Georgia, and we will be defending our SWA Tag Team Championships. I don't know against who yet, but I'm guessing it may be the Kings of Hollywood, but we'll have to find out.
Well, it won't be the Exodus. They don't travel that far.
We already beat their ass up in SWA.
Yeah, they already got sheeshed out.
Yeah, there is no longer ice in their veins. They're refreezing that right now for our match later on in Tampa.
Well, that might explain the shrinkage.
Anyways,
Well, watching is only half the fun.
all right, guys. If that's all we get, no more alibis.
No.
Guys, thank you for listening to the Daxcast. We will see you down the road.
Hey, for all your merchandise and collectible needs, check out shoptampabayprowrestling.com. We've got merch and more from your favorite superstars. We'll see you there.